Okay, this time, students, we're going to look at quizzes as an option for the formative assessment uh, assignment for the week. Remember, there's 10 questions needed. I described this in the Kahoot assignment as well. So basically, you will do the same thing where you will register at Alex, right? And from Alex, you need to log in, create a username, and that way you'll be able to get to these resources. And where I left off in the last video, right, I have those standards that were addressed. They were detailed. I went and pulled them from a course of study booklet, right, and I was able to go and get a standard, right. So what I'm going to do first, though, is we're going to go over here to quizzes, and this is the front page for it, and they have a quizzes library. I want you to explore both of those in more detail, see which ones you like best, and we'll talk about the contrast between the two of those when we see each other in class. And we finish the second part of formative assessments with Socrative and with um, Plickers. We'll be doing those in class, which is going to be more hands-on for Tuesday's class. You'll notice that you'll have a collection of a library, right? And remember, if you did this with your Troy email when you registered, make sure that you didn't get a spam or an email as a confirmation link to make sure that's who you are, or it may, we may have the same kind of problem we had with Pinterest. But just to make sure that you use your account appropriately. See, I got a library where I basically started with it. So you would create your 10-question assessment for a particular subject. And remember, you're choosing a grade level that you're hoping to one day teach in, right? And from there, you would find a standard that you would want to address, okay? So what I'm going to do is in my library right now, I'm going to go to my library because I just started the same one that I did where we're looking at the 13 colonies. Okay, and I kind of did the same thing. I started it in here. Now I want to show you a little thing that they did that's going to make it a little tougher for us if you're going to submit a quizzes, and I'll show you how to do a workaround. But the 13 colonies is the one that I'm in. Okay, when I click on it, right, there's an editor of it right here. Okay, so now I'm in the editor just like I would have been in with Kahoot. And you'll notice that the buttons are a little bit more friendly that you're adding here, right? If I want to go in and edit a particular question, I could. I've already defaulted the correct answer, right? But if I go back, if I want to leave that, I can. Or I could have hit save or cancel, right? My problem is this, though. When I go to edit, you'll notice that in Kahoot, there was a description area where I could insert the standard. Well, in this one, you kind of have to pay for that. That would be a connection that you have from one of the other elements where you would pretty much be able to put in a standard alignment. So that's where they kind of get us here. This is free, but for us to get the bells and whistles to do a standard, well, it's a little bit more work. So to do a workaround here, what I'd like for you to do, if you're in a quizzes and you've already submitted it, I'm sorry, just go back and just add this one element, if you don't mind. But what you'll do is this: if you did a quizzes, you're going to upload a screenshot of the standard. Okay. So what I did is I went into the standard and I found it down here. And there's the standard that I'm looking at for like social studies in 13 colonies, right? So this would meet what we were discussing from the first video where I decided to do one on social studies 5th grade, right? So I took a screenshot of that, and there are several ways. I could just do a control P on my laptop. Nimbus, again, is that Chrome extension that I mentioned in the past, Nimbus. And what that does is it lets me just do a select an area, and it lets me just take a picture of it. Now, it may not because I've got an active video recording going here, but it would let me take a picture of this and save it. See, it's not going to let. Oh, it let me. Wow. So I was surprised. But right now, if I wanted to take a screenshot of this and say, this is my 13 colonies content standards right there. Yeah, see, if I would have named it that, it would have downloaded it. And there it is. There's my image. So this is the image that I've got on my computer that I've saved. And you're like, wow, that seems like a lot of work. Well, it's not too bad because once I've done this and I've got the image, right, I go back to my quizzes and I'm going to put the image right here. Do you understand why I had to do an image shot instead? because I have nowhere to put the state standard that I'm using to address you know, what this aligns to, this particular component. So I'm going to click here to upload a quiz image, right? And then if I scroll down, I should see, or I have to go smaller. There should be an upload image. Oh, just drag and drop. So if I go here, it lets me go to my downloads. And I'm looking for 13 colonies, and it's in my downloads. There it is. Didn't go to my desktop. See what it did? I am fine with that. If you want to put the grade that you're choosing, that you're going to be identifying with as fifth grade, yep. And leave it public because you're going to let me see it, okay? And the same criteria when you name yours. You want to go in and put the name of the topic and your initials. This helps me know who I'm looking at when I'm working on grading these. I'm looking for 10. I'm going to work through each one. I'm going to make sure you have marked the correct answer. I want to make sure that you've added an image to each one of your questions. And I want the standard at the nameplate of the document. It makes it much easier for me to see in Quizizz. So add a title image. I could add one on the top, and this is going to be Alabama standard. So if it asks for that, which it is, I can just do that. That's what it's going to look like. That helps me. You understand why I had to do that? So that's the only workaround that they've changed. They kind of took away the option of us being able to, when we edit this, it used to give me an option in here to where I could put down a description detail, and that's where we used to drop the standard. But from now on, I need to see it right here. That's one of the 5 points you're getting for the standard. Okay. So that's pretty much it. What kind of questions can you use? Just like in Kahoot, you can decide on which ones you want, right? But I just will need to make sure that it's an active one. And when you share it with me, I'm going to show you how to share it in both formats in my next video. Okay. So that's all there is to it on Quizizz. I need to know of a standard. I need 10 questions, right? And I need the standard in an image shot right here. Not for Kahoot. In Kahoot, you can actually put it in the details. So I'll do a little screenshot of that and let you see that as well. But it's much easier to do that in Kahoot. So that's the only workaround that we're having to do in this program.